Well, this is the sort of electronic interface part, just come in this small, well, in this envelope. I've ripped it open this end, and then I noticed that there's a, well, open here. Oops, my camera's almost upside down here, so everything's back to front for me when I'm looking at it. And there's an opening there. It's like a bubble wrap type bag. There's no instructions with this. I believe there are some sort of instructions online. I'll have to check it out. I'll put a link about this down below, but basically it's for a Pi camera to go over HDMI. If I can get this out. Come on, there's some standoffs here, so I've got a feeling that the standoffs will go flying. You see the standoffs here. Oh, just let me put this light on, sorry. That's better, that's a lot better. So there's some nuts and bolts and some wires. I hope there's 2 wires. It's hard to tell. One for input, one for output. Yes, there are 2 wires, 2 cables, 2 short cables. So those 2 short cables go in each of the ports on here. I'm not sure which way around yet. And then you put HDMI in one and HDMI in the other. And one's in a way input and the other one's output. I'm not sure if there's any difference between these two. You look at that. Let's look at the other side. Not much on the other side at all. Nothing really, I don't think. Maybe, yeah, nothing. So I'll show you the pack again. I'll put a link down below where I got this from. There's a pack. So this looks like a V-groove. I imagine I can just snap this in half. Yes, quite easy to break in half. Sorry, that's going out again. And one's going to be used for input, one's going to be used for output. I think they're both the same. It mentions 3.3 volts on there, 3.3 volts on there, and ground pin in this bottom right hand corner. Is this the same? Yes. Yes, that's the same, that one. So each board is, I can't see any active electronics on there. Sometimes SMDs are so small that, like full stops, and they can be very hard to see. So HDMI into here, and the short ribbon cable, one going to the Pi and one going to the display. So everything seems to be there, and I'm going to, it's version 2 it suggests here. So there's the back. So it's just, so far as I can tell, it's just a wiring, like certain wires go to certain pins on the HDMI. I can't, as I say, I can't see any active or passive components at all really. It's got some pins here, as if to say it's got test points with certain letters on. And some possibly test points on that side as well. Just turn that round that way, because then the 3.3 volt on the ground label is the correct way up. Let me just have a look at this. Yeah, it's got some lettering on there, A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever, A, B, C, D. Not sure how well this gets in the camera. On this side, on the back it's got no lettering, just like Pi camera to HDMI cable version 2, V2. Okay. Okay, I've printed out these two sort of boxes. One is for inline, for the wire to go almost straight through, in and out, HDMI, and the cable here. The other is for the cable to come out through the back. Now the idea of the back one is to have this printed on the back of my camera mount. This is my camera mount for 3MP, 5MP. I'll put the details here. Everything's upside down in this camera, sorry. We'll put the details on there. And the wire, hopefully the wire will be, there's a couple of screw holes in each one if you want to bolt it on for 3mm screws. These are 2mm, and in my case Allen button headed screws, balls, 12mm long. You have to cut them to size. So actually, oh, that's round the wrong way, that's right. So this will be, or get round the right way, something like this, with the wire coming out there, going into the camera up here. Okay, I'll pop these units into each of these. Let's do this one first. This one's easier. I bolted them together temporarily. I'll unbolt them. So this one, with like the hole in the back, is called the back. The other one is called inline with the box. That's the difference in the file names basically. So with this one, we want the wire. Now there might be a problem with the wires. Will the contacts be the right way up when I'm finished? This one's so almost fold over. Okay, come up through the back, and the balls will actually go through the 4 holes and into the holes in there. Drill those out to 1.5mm and force the balls in. Pull on that wire a bit. Not too much. Right, I brought that together, so that's the one with the wire coming out the back. Hopefully that's enough to go round, hoping that's enough to go round and into the camera. That's going to be very short, and I don't even know if the contacts are the right way around. If not, I'll remodify this. I have a thought of having a hole out there. I wanted the HDMI to come in this way, but presumably the HDMI cable could come in from that end, and then the hole in there. That would give a lot more wire cable, because then it could come out like that, and it would probably turn the contacts up the other way. That's something I have to check. So I'm going to do the inline one. That's easy enough, it's just straight through. So the straight through one, a little bit easier. These circuit board type printed circuit boards only just fit in here for me with my tolerances on my printer. So you can see it goes in like that. HDMI will go in there, as on this one HDMI will go in there. This one has to be double checked. So this is an inline one. Again, 2 holes in the back for fitting balls, mounting balls. and I'll screw those together, the 4 bolts. I'll do that off camera. So here's my camera. It says 3 MP on the front. It did advertise as 5, but it works very well. These are infrared, I believe, as far as I know, so I can see in the night time. Well, take video in the dark apparently. I don't know what this sort of blue, looks like a blue LED here, is for. Haven't a clue. It's got a couple of sensors by these, so I think they can come on individually if need be. Those look like those you know, those with the zigzag sort of pattern on. Here's my mount. So this goes, that gap there is just for air to go through. If you do print this mount, put the heat sinks on that bolts on here. Remember which way up it goes. Yep, that way, I thought so. That will bolt onto there. Yeah, this for me, in my case, this hangs upside down on a sort of mount thing. Remember that. Then I want the one with the slot in. This one. That'll go into there. Yes, the pins will go the correct way around. That'll go into there, and then this will bolt on there, only just, I think. So I think the best way for me to do this is not bolt it on, but to actually stick it on with some super glue after I've plugged it in here. So I'll plug it in there first. You just lift this sort of tab up, bit of a tab there, then you can slide it in, pins facing down in this case, away from the front of the lens. And then I'll super glue this to the back of this. Super glue is pretty strong, but it can be broken loose if you whack it hard enough, generally speaking, on PLA. So this tab, you slide it forward, well, this way towards the camera, and lift it a bit. Okay, and that opens it up so you can slide the ribbon cable in there. There we are. Oops. Plugged in a bit tricky to get that plugged in tight, but managed. Just pushed it down and, well, pushed it in and then pressed down on the tab thing. It should be okay. I'll bolt the front on here. Then, oh, the other way up, isn't it? Yep, bolt the front on there, then I'll come back. So this one goes to the HDMI cable, plugs in there. The other end of the HDMI cable plugs into this socket on this side. So the idea there is normally these get one that's grounded, and you've got a stronger, better than like a long ribbon cable. I have a 5 meter long ribbon cable, and I found that when it gets dark that just doesn't work properly. So I'm hoping that this idea will fix it. I need a long, well, I want a long cable so I can move my, if I do any maintenance or anyway. I think that's a 2 or 3 meter long cable. That's, I've heard that you can go up to 5, well, people have tried 5 meter HDMI cables using the system, and it works alright. Well, there's the front screwed on, it's plugged in. I'm going to super glue this box on there. I'm not going to try to drill 2 holes in the back because it's going to be too much messing about, I think. I'll just get some super glue, I'll do that. Just zoom into this a bit. So that gives you a good look at it. So yep, the pins are correct way round when it comes up like that and curves over. The HDMI obviously goes in this part here. So I've put some super glue on. Actually I'm still waiting for that to seep in a bit, capillary action. I'll press some, well, spread a bit of super glue on the blue part. Press this down on top and now I'll squeeze some in this edge. Waiting for that hopefully to seep down a bit and set. So I don't want to turn it too much about, but got enough to sort of show you around. I think that super glue will be strong enough for unplugging and plugging in the HDMI without the balls putting in, but time will tell. So you might see the super glue glistening there. So here's my printer. Here's the 5 meters ribbon cable going to the camera. I've wrapped it in aluminium foil, which I've wrapped in cling film. There's a video about this here. That's to try and remove some interference. I think that did help. I haven't earthed that or grounded it. Just some aluminium foil, aluminum foil, tin foil, wrapped round all the way. And I'll show you why I want it to be a long wire. Actually, what I'm thinking of doing, if I can get a HDMI cable long enough, but that probably have to be another 5 meter. I've only got 2 meters going handy, to actually come round to the printer carriage and actually have the camera on the carriage so the camera moves. But I'll think about that. I don't know about that. So just take this off here. Let me pan down, and I have a server cabinet here, as you see. Just unplug the LCD 12864. So, and I can drag this out all the way for any maintenance I might want to do on the ramps or whatever. I've got 3 power supplies. I've got 24 volts for the heat bed, right through solid state relay here. I've got 12 volts for the ramps, etc, 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 whatever. I've got 5 volts for 5 volt systems. I know there's 5 volts and that on the ramps, but I found that 5 volt thingy. Here's my Raspberry Pi here, a bit of an angle so I can get in to do plug a HDMI cable in there, and there's a camera cable going in here. Okay, again with the foil round. But sometimes I want to bring this tray almost all the way out and onto the floor, so that's one reason I want a long wire. This can come out all the way. I can't really do that because the tripod's here at the moment, and when I can hook it back on, I can hook it back on, minding these cables here. So I'm going to pass this HDMI cable instead of this long 5 meter long ribbon cable. Okay, I'll come back. I'll just show you this first. As I say, I've super glued all the way around here. Well, I've super glued on the thing, and then I've poured some extra bit of super glue in on the edges, some capillary action, and I've let that set quite a bit. That's pretty strong now. It's not going to come off. This won't be unplugged and plugged in a lot. So there's my camera. It goes on this sort of stand thing here. I hang mine basically upside down, but you can flip it about in Octoprint, I believe, if you want. So I'll talk about this camera here. Well, information about it. But if you do print this out, this model, put the heat sinks on last so that they do sort of line up. They're just self-adhesive. There's a heat sink on. These are infrared LEDs, as I mentioned. Not sure what this, anybody know what this purple sort of bluish, looks like an LED here is for? Some sort of sensor. Don't think it's light sensor because there are, sorry about this, light sensors here and here. You can see those light sensors there to trigger the infrared, so far as I know. I put a white Tipex mark on here to help me get focus easier. This can focus. Right, let's get on with it. Procrastinating again, I think. Let me plug this in here first so I'm not having to muck about. So it's just a standard HDMI cable. Now, if you follow this link, you'll read that there are more than one type of HDMI cable, so be careful. Some of earth's, well, grounding, sometimes I call it earth, plugged it, well, wrapped around the cables a different way. That plugs into the bottom there, and this will mount on that like pin here, peg thing, and then I'll screw on with, well, tighten it up and screw on with this bolt here, which I can obviously adjust, and that's like a ball socket joint there, so I do have some adjustment. I'll do that. I'll put this round the back and start threading the cable through off camera. So it's just a standard HDMI cable, probably cheap one. I'm using here 2 meters. Well, I've put the HDMI cable up to there and mounted the camera. Now I've noticed that, well, in my case, on this, it's the wire is thicker and it's stronger, so it's pulling the camera a little bit. It's not so easy normally with the ribbon cable. This is quite light. This is a 5 meter ribbon cable, as you see, wrapped in aluminium foil, aluminum foil, tin foil. That I've took out. This was easier to like position this and it would stop there, just gripping. I'd probably have to put some paper to tighten the like ball up in here. I'll see to that later. That's probably good enough for now, just as a test. So sometimes this is what I like to do, is pull it out all the way like this. Let's see if this HDMI cable will reach it. I doubt it. Yes, the HDMI cable will easily reach that. So this is where the inline one is going to go. The inline version of this box. Again, I put 2 screw holes so you can mount it somewhere. Those are for 3mm bolts sort of thing. You could mount it on something if you want. But I'll probably just leave mine loose. Thinking about these screws shorting out something, but I'll probably at least initially leave it loose. I'm going to plug this into my ramps down here. I'll do that off camera, and then I'll put this back in here and we'll give it a basic test. So there it is, plugged into my Pi, Raspberry Pi 3, version 3 this is. Right, I'll put this jaw back in and we'll have a look. There we are, it's gone over there. Again, the thickness of the HDMI cable is moving this about, this box. But once it's in there, it'll be pretty stable. It does pull a bit on a little bit of ribbon cable, so you have to be careful that it doesn't pull the ribbon cable out of the Raspberry Pi there, or wherever you have yours, because it is thicker and heavier duty.